Greetings everyone. Today we're going to write linear equations, but specifically from 2 points. Now I do have a couple of videos about writing linear equations, so make sure you have the right note sheet and the right video on. We do have some steps. Now these are the same steps as from a table, so we're going to concentrate on finding from 2 points today. So the first thing, when I'm given 2 points, like x comma y, we want to use our formula to find our slope. Remember, our formula is the y's, the change in y, over the change in x. Remember, it's subtraction because we're trying to find the difference between the two values. Once we know that slope, we want to write in point slope form. We've been doing this for quite a while now. It's the same setup, the same layout. The m's written in front of the x. You pick a point to write with the x and with the y. Now step 3, if needed, you want to isolate and solve for y. But today, we're going to concentrate on these first 2 steps. All right, let's take a look at this first example. I'm going to label my xy, xy, and I'm going to set up my formula, the change in y's over the change in x's. So let's start with our y's. My first y is 3, and I'm going to subtract my second y with it, which is 6. X's go on bottom. My first x is 2, and my second x is 5. Remember, they need to match up. So if you take a look here, see how the 3 and 2 are the same point? So they need to be above each other. Or take a look at the red numbers, right? The 6 and the 5 were part of the same point, so they need to be above each other. What I mean by this is, you could also write your formula like this. You could have said 6 minus 3, but then you'd need 5 minus 2. Okay? Both of these are okay. All right, but let's calculate. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. What's negative 3 divided by negative 3? 1. We're now ready to write our equation of our line. Y space equals space x space. Our slope that we just found will always be written in front of the x. Next, you need to pick a point. So it doesn't matter which one. Let's say I pick the first one. If my x is positive 2, I write negative 2. If my y is positive 3, I write negative 3. See how when I circle that point, it's easy to come back to it and acknowledge what its signs are? So make sure you make a little note of what point you're using. Let's try this next one. I'm going to show a little less. We are finding the change in y's over the change in x's. I've got a y value of 4 and a y value of 2. Let's line up our x's. I have an x value of 0 and an x value of 4. Let's calculate. 4 minus 2 is 2. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. 2 over 4 is the same as saying 1/2. So we have a negative 1/2 for our m. Let's set up our equation. Y space equals space x space. Remember, this is point slope form. We've been doing this for a while. See my previous videos if you need more help. The slope always gets written in front of the x. Then I have to pick a point. Let's say I pick this point. If my x is positive 4, I write x minus 4. If my y is positive 2, I write y minus 2. It doesn't matter which dot you pick, as long as you write it correctly. Let's try another one. Let's set up our formula. Y difference over x difference. I have y values of negative 5 and 7. I have x values of negative 2 and negative 5. Ooh, we got some special work here to do. Negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. Look here, we have a double negative. A double negative becomes addition. So we actually have negative 2 plus 5. That would get me to 3. This divides. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. That's my slope. If you need help with this finding slope between 2 points, I do have a separate video that is only about finding the slope. Okay? All right, let's set up our equation. Y space equals space x space. I don't know why, that just sticks with me to lay it out first. We're going to take our slope and write it in front of the x. Then we need to pick a point. Let's just say I pick the first one because it's first. If my x says -2, I write x plus 2. If my y says -5, I write y plus 5. Find the slope, plug it in, pick a point, plug it in. Let's try this next one. Change in y over change in x. My y values are 0 and 10. My x values are 0 and 5. 0 subtract 10 is -10. 0 subtract 5 is -5. And I can divide these. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. Let's write our equation. My m value goes in front of my x, and then I need to pick a point. Wait a second, this is 0, 0, right? I could write plus zeros, or I could leave it blank. Watch what happens if I leave it blank. If I don't write the zeros, this is my equation. That works. But let's also say, what if I did pick the second point? What would that look like? I'd still have a 2 here, but then my x would be a -5 and my y would be a -10. Guess what? Any 3 of these are okay. You pick one, stick with it. All right, let's find our slope. Y minus y, right? Ooh, double negative. X minus x. Double negative again. Double negatives become addition. Don't forget that. 6 plus 4 is 10. -2 plus 2 is 0. We cannot divide by 0. This is what I like to call a no. It's undefined. Wait. If it's undefined or if there's a 0, this is special. Go back to the beginning. What's special about these points? The x's are -2, just like we've talked about before. If the x's are all the same, that's your equation. If the x's are all the same, the x equals the number is your equation. I don't need point, slope, form, or slope intercept. If all the numbers are the same for the same letter, that's your equation. Let's put a star by this one too then. This one's special before we even do any work. Save yourself the work. Both of those are 3's, and both of those are y's. Y is 3. Done. It should be that easy. If you need a picture to know why, 0, 3 is here, 5, 3 is here, a horizontal line through the y-axis at 3. That's our lesson for today. It's all stuff you already know how to do. It was just putting it all together. As always, check Google Classroom to see what your task is. Let your teacher know if you have any questions. And until next time, have a good one.